Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Backyard Buckets. Today we are talking about the San Antonio Spurs and what to expect from them during the 2020-2021 NBA season. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe. If you like basketball content of any kind, we're posting it 3 times a day. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of the videos. Make sure to hit the like button if you like this video at any point. It helps this video out the YouTube algorithm and it helps our channel grow. We're going to start off with a depth chart. I got all this information from ESPN.com, so if there's something wrong with it, let me know down in the comments below. At the 1, we got DeJounte Murray. Should have a pretty improved season this year. This is, I believe, his 5th year in the NBA, so he could really start to become a really good point guard for this team. At the 2, they got Derek White, another guy who should be very instrumental for them this year if they were to have any success. Another guy you want to see take some strides, take some leaps in order to grow, or in growth. At the 3, if that made any sense. At the 3, we got DeMar DeRozan, the guy that chased that burglar out of his house in LA. Imagine being the burglar, coming face to face with 6'6", 200 something. You're trying to rob a house. Like, that's not. I'd be scared. I mean, I wouldn't be robbing DeMar DeRozan, but it'd still be scary. But yeah, DeMar needs to have another good season if they are to make it back to the playoffs. He's got to, help carry the load offensively and still be a really good factor. Not get old, basically. That's the huge thing, is that he cannot get old. At the 4, another guy that needs to help carry the load offensively, but he cannot get old either. He cannot show signs of age. He still needs to be a beast for them, and that is LaMarcus Aldridge. He's getting up there in age. They need a couple more good seasons out of him. And at the 5, Jakob Poeltl. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Pretty sure it's Poeltl. I'm not European. I'm not sure where he's from though. But yeah, they got Jakob Poeltl. He came over in the Kawhi trade, and he's only improved since, and should expect some more improvement out of him this year. Coming off the bench, they got Trey Stones from Duke. I think that was a really good pick. I mean, he's bigger and more athletic than his brother. And his brother has been a pretty good point guard. I'd say he's probably a better defender, a lot better defender, and a better passer than his brother. His brother's hands down the better scorer, better shooter. But I think he takes the defense and the passing of the Trey Tyus Stones family, however you want to say it. At the 2 off the bench, I got Lonnie Walker, a guy who has proved he can be a microwave scorer off the bench, and they will need him to be that this year. At the 3 off the bench, I got Rudy Gay. Feels like he's been around forever. I mean, he has. That dude, he's played for so many teams. At the 4 off the bench, I got Trey Lyles, another guy who's bounced around, played for a lot of teams. And at the 5 off the bench, they got Drew Eubanks, and I'll be honest, I do not know a whole lot about him. Other guys will see some minutes. Patty Mills, who is still a Spur. You got Keldon Johnson, who played at Kentucky a few years ago. Might have been a couple years ago. I think he was taken in last year's draft. So entering his second year. It's all weird with, the draft just being held like a couple months ago, or not even. And you say the draft a year ago, meaning, last season's draft, and then people are talking about, never mind, I'll stop talking. They also got Devin Vassell from Florida State. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, Vassell, not Vassell. But my projection for this San Antonio Spurs team, I think they'll be between an 8 and a 14 seed. One of the wider ranges, because I think they have a lot riding on their vets. If DeMar and LaMarcus Aldridge give them good buckets, give them good minutes all season long, and really help them out, really contribute, as well as DeJounte Murray Derek White, Pertzel, Trey Jones, Lonnie Walker, and those guys. I mean, even Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell. If those guys can give you buckets too, then you're up into the 8 seed range. But if not, I think you're down at the bottom of the Western Conference. The Western Conference is just so stacked this year. My playoff ceiling for this year's San Antonio Spurs, I think their playoff ceiling is the play-in game, play-in tournament. I don't think they could outright make it to the playoffs, which would mean they have to be the 6th seed. And I don't think they'll be able to win the play-in game. I mean, they might. It's Greg Popovich in a one-game scenario, so you never know. But I don't think they'll get past the play-in tournament. The X factor for this team is, like I said earlier, DeMar and Aldridge. I might have already said the X factor. I think I did. If not, it's DeMar and LaMarcus Aldridge and their age. But overall, this is a good team with a good veteran, young balance. But they're in a weird spot just because there's so many teams that are better than them. But they're also not going to get good draft position every year. But I mean, they're the Spurs. They're one of the greatest drafting teams of all time, them and the Raptors. So they'll be all right. I mean, they've made the playoffs 22 years in a row before this year, and some of us haven't made the playoffs in 22 years. Shout out Buzz City. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Liking really helps the video out in the YouTube algorithm, and subscribing helps the channel out. Thanks for watching.